Welcome to the Melinda Eitzen Show. I'm Melinda. Today we're going to talk about substance abuse and how it affects our family law cases. And here to help is attorney Laura Roach.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
I'm so glad you're here, Laura. Well, you and I were saying before, we have a very similar practice.
We do.
We both litigate, but we both do a lot of mediation as the mediator.
Yeah, it gives us a good perspective and exposure, I think, to a lot of different people with
Yes.
a lot of different problems.
That's so true. Would you agree that, I think the big reality in family law is that humans are flawed.
Correct.
And one way they're flawed is that there's addictions, and substance abuse is a big issue that we see in our cases.
Yes, all the time. Almost like, not going to say every case, but almost. At least some kind of addiction of some sort, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling,
Yes.
shopping.
Yes.
Those are all pretty prevalent in most family law cases, I think.
I agree. And one thing that when people are considering divorce or they're in the middle of it, I think they have a tendency to want to downplay or hide their problem when maybe they should embrace and do something about their problem.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people, it's humility, right? They don't, you have to be humble and accept the fact that you have a problem. And I think that's been my issue with some clients where I'm like, I know they have an issue and I know inside they know they have an issue, but they just can't get the ego and pride out of the way to say, okay, I have an issue and I need help. So personally, I've been on the sober journey since 2018. I've been sober since October 4th of 20. But back in 18, I remember the day, so many people, people in our industry didn't really know, but I knew I had an issue, and I had a counselor that said I had an issue. I had a husband who said I had an issue, and I was denied. And I remember the day I felt, for the first time probably in my life, I need to ask somebody for help. Because I was raised, you can fix any problem, you can do this, don't depend on anybody else, don't do all that. And that's actually a liability. Like, I didn't know that it was okay to ask for help. It sounds weird because it's just, now it's very natural for me. But back then, I'll fix it, I'll handle it, I'll do it. Don't come in, don't talk to me about it, I got it. That was my mentality. And so I try to share that with clients when they come in, and I can tell they have an issue, but they don't know how to ask for help.
Yes.
And a lot of times I just tell them my story. Like, this is how I felt, this is what I did, this is the choices I was making. And usually one alcoholic talking to another alcoholic will get them opened up enough to ask me for help at least. And then I can get them to be willing to actually get the help they need. So I try to spot it. It's like, you spot it, you got it kind of deal. But I know I got it, so I can usually spot it. And I have alcoholics that come to me because they think I'm going to be easier on them, or they think that
they're wrong about that.
Oh, Lord. That is not how it goes, because I know what I did to get sober, and what it was. I put myself on SoberLink, the device, you blow into, and I had emails sent to my husband for credibility. These are things I did on my own, like for accountability. I went to a specialist talking about substance abuse, and I got active in AA, but there's lots of different 12-step programs. But I ended up I had a friend that's in our industry as well that the only person I knew that didn't drink that I called and asked help. That was the first time in my life I ever said, please, can you help me? I can't do this on my own.
It's very powerful that you're willing to openly share your journey, because it helps other people to know, oh, this is a high-functioning, very successful person in our community, and gosh, she needed help. It's okay that I need help, right?
Right.
So I appreciate you sharing that. Beyond that, we want the person to actually be helped as a human being.
Right.
Strategically in the case, is it better to hide the fact and get help later, or is it better to just let the judge know, hey, I have a problem, but I recognize that and I'm going to get help?
Yeah, it's definitely the latter. People try. I'll say this, that when I was active in my alcoholism, I thought nobody knew. And I thought that this wasn't an issue. I thought it was normal to drink at lunch every day. My husband would say, Laura, it's not normal for people to drink at lunch. Well, it was for me. And so after I quit drinking, I went to lunch and I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody drinks at lunch. Like I had no idea. So you're in a delusion. And so you got to break that delusion and be willing to actually get the help. If you go to court in that delusion, judges are going to see right through it. They see it every day, all day. I mean, addiction is in their courtroom every day, all day. So I think I've had clients before, I'll just say, that think, okay, I don't want to, if I go to AA, that's going to make me look bad. Or if I, start being on SoberLink, that means I'm admitting I'm an alcoholic and I don't think I'm an alcoholic. Well, if everyone around you thinks you're an alcoholic, but
guess what?
You probably are. Now, you're the only one that can diagnose yourself. But to go and be humble enough in court and to say, yes, I have a problem. I know this isn't normal, and I'm doing A, B, C to fix it. You got to know your audience, right? I mean, judges have problems, right? There are judges out there that have substance abuse problems or have had these problems or are married to somebody like my husband. He's a judge. He's married to me. And he knows what it looks like to really be in sobriety, and he knows what it looks like not to be. And if you can go in there, it's impressive. People are like, wow, you haven't drank since 2020? I'm like, nope. And I don't want to. That's the difference. I used to want to, like, oh, white knuckle it. I need to have a drink. Now I'm like, it's just.
You're past it.
I'm past it.
Because you're actively working on your sobriety.
Correct.
Well, another thing we have in common, you're married to a judge, as you said. My dad was a judge. So we both had judge relation. And we've both been in front of many, many, many judges over many years. I tell my clients, judges will forgive anything if you take personal responsibility and you are on a path to deal with the problem.
Correct.
What they don't want is someone in denial. They're not going to hand a child over to someone in denial because that doesn't feel safe.
Right.
They could not take all the children away from all the people who are in active recovery because nobody would have their children, right? So you still get to be a parent and an active and good parent in recovery, but they do not like it when you're in denial. So it's the opposite of their instinct.
Right.
The instinct is to hide it when you're actually better off embracing it.
Yeah, it's an ego thing, I think. I think it's an ego. My spouse isn't better than me. I don't have this problem. I want to get my kid. But it's so admirable, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
To accept the fact that you too are flawed and you have this issue. And, people just don't understand the value of humility.
Yes.
I didn't.
I had a client, he came in and he told me that he had lost a job, a really good job. He was out of town because his job took him out of town. They showed up to him at his location out of town and tested him, his job, at 8 a.m, and he tested positive. So that's how bad it was. And they fired him. So, but does he think he has a problem? No. He had also had DWI. Does he have a problem? No. So he comes to me. By the time he's come to me, they've already filed emergency everything, right? He has no access to his child. And I said, well, maybe we should go find a path to get you on recovery. He's like, well, I don't have a problem. I said, okay, well, how about this? Let me hire an expert, a substance abuse evaluator. You go talk to the expert. It will be a secret. I'll call them a consulting expert. We never have to tell anyone. But let them tell you if they think you have a problem and what they would recommend. And then you can decide. So he tells me later, I had a drink that night. I didn't want to go, but I went. And long story short, he goes. He actually takes their advice. He does everything they say. And by short order, he had access again to his child, normal relationship. And at the end of the case, he said, Melinda, I'm in a better relationship with my child than I've ever been because I spent so much of her childhood drunk.
Yep. And you saved his life.
I know. Now, that's all the positive side of that story. The negative side of that story is he was one of my most difficult clients. He would yell at me because he was in recovery, but he hadn't dealt with the underlying problem.
Yeah, he was white knuckling it.
Yes, so he was not at his best. But we did get him through, and he did have a positive and better life because of it. So I love telling people, hey, let's go just figure it out, you know?
Yeah, that's the problem with probably any addiction, but for me personally, alcohol, is that it is such a self-diagnosis. But at some point, you know, like people do interventions and they work because at some point you just go mercy. But what really happens is there's this little thing in your head that's constantly telling you, okay, you know, there's a problem, you know, and it's just that my body, it's medical. My body does not process alcohol like your body does. It just doesn't. It stays in there a little longer and makes me want another one, you know? And then next thing you know, I want like 5 more. And then my body craves it the next day. It's the only disease that will kill you that tells you you don't have it. I mean, it tells me I don't have it all the time. I mean, you know, I say that. If I'm active in my recovery program, it does not. But if I'm not active, which is what happened in 2020 because of COVID, we couldn't really have in-person meetings. I was able to step out of it a little bit. I wasn't connected with my friend group of sober friends. I wasn't really doing any public service. Like I got out of the boat, is what we call it, right?
Well, relapse is a normal part of recovery too. So we don't need to freak out if somebody relapses. They get back on. You got back on the path.
I mean, it really didn't take long for me to go, okay.
Uh-oh.
Because I thought at first I tried to make excuses like, well, you know, my work life was not good, or this relationship wasn't good, or whatever. So maybe I'm really not an alcoholic.
Right. It was a test.
It was. I passed or failed, depending on how you look at it.
It confirms something for you.
And then that's that self-diagnosis of going, okay. Because like I would know, like if I'm pouring a glass of champagne, if I'm pouring a bottle of champagne into like a Yeti or whatever, and my cup of coffee and driving to work, I mean, that's a problem. Like
that is a bad sign, I suspect.
And like I had a client come in, she's like, there's no way I'm an alcoholic. I run a successful business. I work out every single day. And so I drink every once in a while, or more often than I should, but I'm not an alcoholic. And I'm like, listen, I worked out every single day.
There's a lot of functional alcohol.
I ran a successful firm. I was doing okay. I mean, I'm not that alcoholic under the bridge, you know, right. And people tend to think, well, I'm not that bad. Well, you don't have to take the elevator down to that bad. If I hadn't stopped drinking, I would have been that bad eventually. There's no doubt, because alcoholism is progressive and it's fatal. It never gets better. It only gets worse. And like my friends that'll go 20 years in sobriety and then they decide to start drinking again, they pick up right where they left off.
Oh gosh.
So, and that's what I did when I relapsed. I picked up right where I was. Drink every day, have to do it. The mental obsession. How am I going to drink today? Where am I going to drink? Am I going to hide it? Do I go ahead and have a happy hour? I mean, I would ask people to go to lunch and happy hour just so I had an excuse to drink that day. It sounds bad. I didn't realize it at the time, you know, but that mental obsession over alcohol combined with the bodily defect of processing alcohol makes me a very good alcoholic.
Huge relief to free yourself of that.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I mean, I feel so bad for the active alcoholic. I do. I mean, I'll talk to an alcoholic any old day. That's why I'm open about talking. It helps me. It helps me remember how I used to be. And people are like, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, it is no bother. I promise you. It's a no bother. So I'd hate to think about where I'd be life-wise. I mean, my husband, I said earlier, he was a judge, but his best friend was an active alcoholic. And I took him to a meeting with me, and he was one of those, he was pilot, big watch guy, you know, had a Porsche, that kind of guy, you know. And he went to the meeting, and I sat him right next to the guy that's a big watch guy and has a Porsche. And, you know, then there was a pilot over here, and then there was a gun guy over here. And I'm like, yes, this is perfect. He's going to see all the similarities. Yes. He did not. And that was in October, and he died in January of alcoholism. It actually killed him. And he was a high-functioning, high-wage earner. It was heartbreaking.
Oh, it is.
His first grandchild was born the week before he died. 2 weeks before, right around there. And it was very tragic. But that's where I think people, in your law case, absolutely get the help. But just for you in life, because it is progressive and you're going to die, I promise you. And people are like, I don't want to go to AA or Celebrate Recovery or whatever. AA was started by a doctor, a lawyer, and a stockbroker. People don't realize that. They think AA was started by some homeless person.
Oh, and the stockbroker, that was probably back at the time that people were jumping off the buildings, right? because
that's
of
what
the market
happened.
crashing.
Yeah, that he was right in the middle of that. It was in the 30s. So June 10th, I think 1935, was the first time he was a stockbroker, and he contacted a doctor, and he wanted to drink that day. His name's Bill Wilson. Bill wanted to drink that day, and instead of drinking, he called the hospital and said, "If you got any alcoholics I could talk to," and it was a doctor that needed it, and so he went to the doctor's house, and then they together went and tried to find alcoholics to talk to try to help them, because that's the only thing. Like I was saying, alcoholic helping another alcoholic, and in our practice, I get to do that a lot. We call it 12-stepping, but I get to do that a lot because
through your job.
yeah,
even.
because people come, and then even if it's an addiction, I don't understand. Like, I mean, if it's drugs or sex,
addiction,
or whatever, at least I know I have resources to call for that.
Yes.
You
Well,
know?
I don't drink alcohol. No, I did not have a problem with alcohol. I choose not to drink.
It's so weird to me. Like,
I
how do
know.
like for me, I'm like, what do you mean you choose not to?
I know.
Okay.
Mine's more religious in
great.
basis, but I haven't drank for 15 years. And so when people in my cases say, "Oh, but no, I must drink," and like a big focus of the deal is how they're going to be allowed to drink, I just don't have much sympathy for it, because
You don't get it. Yeah.
I don't view it as necessary, because I don't drink and my life is great, you know? I'm like, why? Even if you're not an alcoholic, at some age, if you overdrink, you're going to feel bad tomorrow. Why would you want to feel bad tomorrow?
Right.
You know?
Because
What's
you
the
have
point?
a disease that tells you don't have it. And it also tells you that it's going to be different next time. I won't
Yes.
drink that much. I won't get that out of control. I mean, I was so miserable towards the end of my drinking career. Socrates says values, thoughts, actions, and alignment equals happiness. I mean, my values never changed. My values was to be a great wife, a great mom, a great lawyer. But my actions and thoughts, I mean, I was planning on drinking. I was away from my kids to drink. I mean, I deal with that still.
Yes,
Because I know I missed opportunities, special opportunities with my kids. And so did my husband, because he was a perfect enabler and very scared I was going to drink and drive. So he would meet me all the time. And so, like, it's a family disease. I mean, he was enabling me, and then, what he should have done was probably let me get a DWI or something,
Yeah.
but
That's so hard.
I mean,
to do.
yeah. So luckily
Right.
I hit my bottom without going to jail,
Yes.
without losing my job, without losing my family.
Yes.
I mean, I got off the elevator early compared to a lot of my friends.
Yes.
Time in jail and stuff like that. But
I have a lot of 12-steppers in my family. And because of that, I have read the big book.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the Alcoholics Anonymous book. I'm a huge believer in AA. One reason is it is free. I mean, you can spend a lot of money on treatment and rehab and all that, and sometimes that's necessary, and then AA is your next step or your continuing step. But there's no excuse. It's free. It's very available. I mean, in a city like this, you could find a meeting any time of day or night, someplace, online, on the phone, or in person. I mean, there's no excuse. And my sister's been sober 30-something years, and
great.
she allows me to not keep her anonymous. She's a big advocate, and big speaker in AA and supporter, and always has tons of people she's sponsoring.
that's awesome.
But really, the service opportunity through AA is very high, And like you said, you had the service opportunity through AA, but also just through your practice.
Yeah. I just didn't know it. I mean, all those years I had alcoholics come in, and what I did in my brain was like justify their drinking because it justified mine, So it made me, the humility of saying I have a problem has made me such a better lawyer. I mean, just a better person mainly, but a better lawyer, because someone would come in that drank like I did. I denied their problem. I saw their bills from the country club and thought, not a big deal.
Yes. So you were with them.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was just more justification, right? But now I look back and go, okay, I missed those opportunities of service, so I'm going to make it up now. I'm not quiet about it. I tell people all the time. I mean, I can't be. It's just dishonest, right? I have to be honest, and I do tell people. And you also need. There's a mental health factor to it too. It's not that I don't know, chicken or egg, but if you're getting sober for the first time, and like you were saying about that client, it's hard when your only solution is alcohol. So to learn other solutions in coping with stress and anxiety or depression or whatever, you probably need to go get therapy to get those tools.
Yes, because we just taken away
My solution.
the big coping mechanism. So now what, right? That's what was going on for him.
Yeah.
For sure. And thankfully, he was in a program getting group therapy and individual therapy.
yeah.
But, he was still at the very beginning phase. So in the meantime, when he was angry, I'm the one he could talk to. He didn't want to tell everybody else everything. So he'd be like, Linda. So that could be the rough patch.
Right. And
but I didn't take it personally. I knew what was going on. It wasn't really anything to do with me,
Well, and I think it's funny. People don't want to go to therapy during a divorce. Okay?
Oh,
I say all my clients have to be in therapy during a divorce.
Absolutely. It's a major life change.
Yes.
Whether they have a substance issue or not. One of the top 3 major life changes is getting divorced. Of course, you should be in counseling.
And people think, the court won't, they're going to think I'm crazy then. And I'm like, okay, your judge is in therapy. So come on. Like,
we have very educated judiciary on mental health.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I agree, yes.
And on substance abuse. They appreciate and realize that humans are flawed. We all need help. They like people taking care of their mental health.
Correct.
Not, again, in denial, saying, my favorite thing they say, we'll have these people with all this money, they have tons of money, and they say, I can't go to counseling because I can't afford it.
Yes.
I'm like, no, that's the first dollar.
Yeah, you can't afford not to.
Like, give me your bank statement. I'll cut some things out to help you afford
Starbucks.
If you can afford me, you can afford
Well,
counseling.
that's the other thing. Yeah, our hourly rates are not cheap.
No.
And therapy can really help everybody. I just don't understand that mentality. This is what I get all the time. I don't have time. And like when I'm dealing with an alcoholic, I don't have time to go to a meeting. And I'm like, well, you had plenty of time to plan your drinking, hide your drinking, do your drinking.
Right.
I'm certain.
You can fill that time now.
Well, I like to drink at lunch, right? And so I filled it with going to meetings at lunch. And that's
perfect.
I had to have that time. And that was my solution. I was learning the solution at the time,
Yes.
but that was my filler, just so I could be sober long enough
Yes.
to get my brain knowing I could do it.
Yes.
And then get the actual help that I needed, but continue in the program. So
if somebody they're not familiar, they've not taken the first step, but they are kind of thinking, this rings a bell for me.
yeah.
Is AA like it's shown on TV?
No. Well, it depends. There's lots of different AA meetings, like you were saying. And then there's Celebrate Recovery, too. There's lots of different 12-step. And I would recommend people try any of them.
Yes.
Try it. But if you go to a meeting and you don't feel like, okay, these are my people, then go to another meeting. I am not in recovery for this, but I will tell you that I'm a much better lawyer and I have a lot more business after I've gotten sober. And I think it's because, number one, I'm sober. But number 2 is I know so many people through different 12-step programs.
Yeah.
And they get to know you because you really, you share stuff. But on TV where they're like, I lost my dog, I lost my job, and it's all sad. Most AA meetings are solution based. It's like, okay, I have this character defect. And I say AA, Celebrate Recovery, all the other ones.
Yes.
But it's like, we talk a lot about character defects, lying, that's one, overspending, all these different character defects. And then how do we not live that way anymore? Because like anger was one of mine. And so I would get angry. I would act like a jerk and then I'd go drink over it. Right.
Oh.
So like it had this little triangle effect. And so how do I learn to not act in the way I was acting before that made me want to drink? I was going to drink anyway, by the way. I drank when I was happy. I drank when I was sad.
My husband says any excuse will do.
Yes, exactly. Any excuse. So, but it does, if you're living your life, if you stop drinking, but you keep living your life the way you were, you're still dishonest. You're still, well, I'm trying to selfish. You're still self-centered. All those things. You're gonna drink again. Like you have to start making progress in those defects to live in the best way possible for you and for everybody.
So AA has a spiritual component. Is
Correct.
that accurate to say? But you don't have to be a certain religion or believe in a certain God. it's kind of a big picture
Correct.
spiritual.
Yeah, so I know Celebrate Recovery is more Christian-based and a little different that way. AA, I'll tell you, the second time I went to an AA meeting, I looked and I went, this is a God thing. Like, I didn't know. It was funny. I love how I was in this business for a long time and how ignorant I was about what AA really is. But we talk about a higher power, and there's no force of religion. It's whatever your higher power is. Believing in something outside of yourself. It is such a relief. I was carrying around all the burdens because I was
You're not in charge.
I'm not, and that is good and okay. And so really it's just a matter of living to the will of something bigger and greater than you. And looking for the knowledge of that. You know, that little tiny voice inside that tells you, okay, you need to do this, not that. You need to tell the truth and not lie. You need to think of this person's feelings over your feelings. That little voice, to me, that's a higher power. That's either, if it's God for me, I call him God, but I mean, people in AA, I'll call them Kathy. I mean, you know, there's lots of different things. It's not biblical. It's not. I mean, it is just believe in something greater than you. And let me tell you, that's hard when you have a large ego and you have no humility. It's like, wait, I don't want to do that. But I remember the first time I really accepted that philosophy of, okay, I'm not in charge, and it was just a weight lifted. Because when you think you can make Melinda respond to my email a certain way on a case, or make your client act this way, or make this person agree to do it that way, I mean, that's a lot. Now I'm like, okay, well, if we don't agree, then we do this and we just see what happens. Laura's way is not the right way. It's not. I say it is sometimes, but you know, I just to be a little bit more laid back and try to accept the fact that I don't know everything, and I like that I don't know everything. It's a lot freer.
I think of it as Holy Ghost, and I call on the Holy Ghost all the time. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a hard conversation with this client or with this family member. Come on, Holy Ghost.
I do that. I'm like, God, just be with me on my words and doing what you want me to do and not what Laura wants, because Laura screws things up. So I just try to, even like before the show, I was like, okay, God, just get the words that I need to say that's going to help somebody somewhere.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And not just try to form it out.
Yeah.
Which is why when I got here, I was like, okay, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Whatever it is, we'll just go for it.
So excellent. Well, I think this is very good advice for the people we're trying to help, but also there's a high substance abuse rate with professionals.
Correct.
And we're in a high pressure job. And so also I think this is helpful for those who might have been you before, right? That are on the mouse wheel trying to be the best, whatever they're trying to be the best of, and need a little assist. So thank you for sharing so openly. You are active as a litigator. Do you do collaborative?
I always say I do everything collaboratively, but and I do collaborative, to answer your question, but it's not a primary focus for me.
Yes. So mainly mediation is the mediator, and that means two lawyers hire you to help resolve their case, and you're excellent at that. I can speak from experience.
Thanks.
And you litigate, and I also know you're excellent at that because we have a case right now. But what area in the Dallas-Fort Worth area do you practice in?
So my office is at the Star. I'm with the firm of Catherine, and I run their family law section. And we're actually in the Cowboy headquarters because our firm does a lot of litigation for the Cowboys. And so I have a pretty cool office, but I always feel a little guilty because I'm not a huge football person, knowing all this, and I watch the Cowboys practice a lot, which is kind of nice. But I'm up in Frisco. We do Collin, Denton, Dallas, Tarrant County if you make me, which I do it sometimes. I prefer to be in Denton and Collin because I'm married to one of the judges, and I know it's just I'm more comfortable in there, and I know what judges, for the most part, okay, this is what they think, or at least this is their philosophy.
Yes.
You know how it is. It's nice to be just a little bit more knowledgeable about the decision maker, because then is this worth going to court or not?
Helps your client to make decisions for sure. And you have other family lawyers at your firm with you?
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to reach you, what's the best way? Should they, what's your website?
Our website is mccathernlaw.com. So that's pretty easy. And then my email is lroach, ROACH, @mccathernlaw.com. So.
Well, they could call you if they need to hire you, but they could also call you if they need help.
Yeah, I would actually, anybody listening to this that needs help, it was another lawyer that helped me, so I mean, and some of the meetings I'd go to, I mean, it's all professionals, not by choice. It just, especially lawyers, doctors, there's a lot of high pressure jobs that brings out our alcoholism in a shining light. So
yes.
Do not hesitate. It's completely confidential. I've had other lawyers reach out to me, on Facebook, and so I am open to help anybody, and I can either go to a first meeting with you or direct you to somebody that can go to the first meeting with you, or, just tell you what meetings are good and what aren't, because we are in DFW. We have some of the most fantastic programs for sobriety. I mean, it's really great.
It's a good place to be.
It's a good place to be. And the cool thing I do, and I travel a lot with my husband, everywhere around the world has great AA meetings, and you just find an English meeting. I've been down in Scotland, and they made me the speaker, and I didn't even know it when I walked in. They're like, will you share? I was like, sure. Thinking 3 minutes. It was 45 minutes to like 50 Scottish people. It was great, but interesting. And, so in different countries, and then you get to learn their culture and their sobriety. But the cool thing about at least AA 12-step is that it's the same in every country. It's the same sayings on the wall. It's the same big book. It's all the same. And you find an English meeting, and it's
support is available.
It's everywhere.
Wherever you make it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So, but if you need initial help, just call me, and I'll send me an email, and I can call you, and we'll just figure it out.
Thank you so much, Laura. This was so great. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And whether you have a personal issue, hopefully this will help you to get some resources, but also be thoughtful in your cases. If lawyers are listening, that we need to help our clients to get on the right path. It'll actually help their case too. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in again next time.